Old Fergie here. I want to get on here and tell you about a little story. When I was around 13, 14 years old in Fort Payne, Alabama, that's northeast Alabama. Well, anyways, me and my family was sitting around one evening in the house when we heard a bunch of noise and going on outside. And we got out and looked outside and we saw our mama cat. It had a bunch of kittens. And what we saw was the mama cat was standing up, its hair sticking out like crazy, and it was screaming. And what it was screaming at was a black panther. It was huge. It was huge. But the cat, it stood up. It stood its ground, and eventually the old panther ran off. Now, for several, this is along about evening. It wasn't quite dark. You could still see real good. But anyways, for several nights, I laid in bed and I could hear screaming. It sounded like a bunch of witches going screaming and hollering and stuff. And then a few days later, I decided to walk down to my grandmother's house. Had to go through a large, it was about a half mile away. I went through an old sage field. And when I stepped out of the sage field, it was an old road. When I looked, about 15 feet away stood that black panther. Well, it was too far to run. I knew better than to run because I knew it'd chase me. So we stared each other down, and eventually it ran off. But that was the most beautiful black panther. Large, yellow eyes, beautiful black fur, and its tail, it was so long. It was so most beautiful animal I've ever seen in my life. But what I'd like to know, has anyone else encountered a black panther or saw one? But thank you.